And then I owe you. Oh. Do you ever bring stuff up? You can sing this one. Okay. All right. Call the meeting to order. As a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment to silence any devices that might interrupt the meeting. Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Mayor and Common Council of Westminster Incorporated. February 5th, 1819, we are gathered here at historic City Hall, originally an estate built in 1842 by Colonel John K. Longwell. The city acquired this building in 1939 and has since been the venue where the mayor and council conduct the city's business. Now we'll begin, as we do every meeting, with a pledge to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. Flag is behind everyone. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you very much. I'm going to skip my traditional historic fact for the evening because we have a very full agenda. So I'm going to move past that. We typically convene on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Please note that these meetings are open to the public at City Hall that are also streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center channel and website. We extend our gratitude to the Media Center for their partnership in ensuring public access to these meetings. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that the City Council will be using are available online on the city's website. Hard copies of the agenda are available, I think, here in the front of the room, although we have a lot of folks, so we may not have had enough. I'm going to read a closed session statement. Statement for the record. A closed meeting of Monday, November 24th, 2025, in accordance with the general provisions, Article Section 3-306C2 of the Annotated Code of Maryland. And without objection, it is noted that the minutes of tonight's meeting reflect the Common Council met in a closed meeting on Monday, November 24th, 2025 at 7:32 p.m. pursuant to the general provisions, Article 3-305 subsection B1 to discuss the employment, assignment, promotions, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this body has jurisdiction, and any other personnel matters that affect one or more specific individuals, and B7 to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. The Common Council took no official action at this meeting, and the meeting adjourned at 8:17 p.m. Now we'll move on to presentations. We have 5 of them this evening. Mayor Becker, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you very much, Council President. Right, so we are going to start with Fall Fest and the Oyster School. So as we celebrate the season of giving, it is my pleasure tonight to give back to organizations and businesses that have supported the city's events in so many meaningful ways. So I'd like to begin by recognizing our valued community partners who made Fall Fest 2025 possible. Fall Fest is Westminster's longest running special event and Carroll County's largest community charity celebration. Now in its 46th year, Fall Fest continues to showcase Westminster's incredible community spirit by supporting nonprofit organizations serving both our city and the surrounding communities. This proud tradition could not continue without the dedication, hard work, and volunteer support of our community partners. In January, we selected 3 nonprofit partners through an application and interview process. Once selected, the real work begins. These partners take on a number of event-related responsibilities, attend monthly planning meetings, recruit and schedule 8 volunteers an hour for every hour Fall Fest operates. This evening, our community partners receiving donation checks are Crossroads Church, Find Your Purpose, Rachel's Bears, and the Westminster Municipal Band. At this time, I'd like to recognize several individuals for their outstanding service, not only to Fall Fest, but also to the people they serve and the lives they touch. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing. From Crossroads Church, we should have Beth Pruitt and Steph Albright. Oh, no. Right, from Find Your Purpose, we have Billy Live. Right, from Rachel's Bears, we have Andrea Gerhard. And from Westminster Municipal Band, we have Tim Stevenson. Each community partner will receive a monetary contribution from Fall Fest proceeds. The amount this year is, drum roll please, $5,400 each. So I'll now invite representatives up individually. You guys can have a seat for a photo and to receive your check. So we'll start with Beth. You want to come on up?
But you're ready to work as soon as you come.
Sorry. Oh, but your real check is here.
Okay.
Would you like to say anything? You guys have been partners for a long time,
Yeah.
so would you like to say a few words?
It's been our 4th year and we just love it. We're so thankful to the city for allowing us to be a partner again. This year, we got involved with bingo this year and that was super fun for us. And we just love it because we feel like we can meet so many people in the community while serving the city at the same time. So thank you for that opportunity.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Billy, Mr. Line. You might get right side.
Oh,
Would you like to say a few words?
I
Got you on the spot.
yeah, I know, I'll never do that. This is my 2nd year and it's always awesome. I just remember walking through Fall Fest as a kid, even as an adult, and I always wanted to know how to get more involved. And this is our 2nd year running the Kids Zone, which is one of the craziest. And I enjoy it and I hope to be here next year too. So thank you guys.
All right, thank you. Andrea, Gerhard, please. Congratulations.
got it.
Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, so I am Andrea and Raised Bears is my baby. And so I do books and bears for kids in hospitals. We are a really, really small organization, so this is huge for us. And we are in 22 different hospitals, the 22nd state. Idaho just got their donation today.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Thank you guys.
And lastly, certainly not least, from the Westminster Municipal Band, Tim Stevenson.
I feel you, brother.
I just had a new body part installed 2 weeks ago. So, I don't feel good.
Would you like to say anything?
Thank you. We've been around a long time. The band's been, you grew up in Westminster, you know, we've been here forever. I've been part of it when I was in high school, came back later. This is pretty cool. We like doing this Fall Fest thing. It's really good. So,
We enjoy having you. Thank you so much. So on behalf of the entire city council, thank you for your inspiring work and for making Fall Fest 2025 such a tremendous success. The event simply would not be possible without your dedication. It's hard to believe they're chosen in January. Is that right? And that's just a couple yes, that's just a couple of weeks away. So I guess we're already turning on to next year. All right, so now our next presentation, recognizing another outstanding community partner, this time through the proceeds of one of our favorite fall traditions, the Westminster Oyster Stroll. Held each year on the 2nd Saturday in October, the Oyster Stroll is designed to raise awareness about the importance of oyster aquaculture in restoring the health of the Chesapeake Bay. As attendees explore downtown Westminster, they enjoy farm-raised oysters from the bay, along with children's activities, educational displays, giant yard games, wonderful foods, artisan and craft vendors, beverage tastings, and live music. This celebration wouldn't be possible without our exceptional partnership with the Coastal Conservation Association. So I'd like to ask Dave Sikorsky, Executive Director over this way of the Coastal Conservation Association, to please come forward.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you, everybody. So Coastal Conservation Association has been operating in our Living Reef Action campaign now for over 10 years. And it started right here in Westminster. And so we're a grassroots organization, a nonprofit that works with members. That means we work with communities and our partners. And so the school system here, the tech center, all the community partners, we do an annual fundraiser in the region, and we've continued to be able to do this work for more than 10 years now. The Oyster Stroll is part of that. I'm a self-proclaimed oyster nerd, and I would encourage all of you to do the same. Much of it's why I do the work I do. I get to educate people about the options that we have and why we want to conserve something so we might be able to eat it. And there's a lot of commerce and environmental benefit that comes from it. So truly taking care of our bay might seem like a daunting task, but we've been doing it here in Carroll County, thanks to the Living Reef Action campaign and our partners and Abby's team and just the entire town. I live in Baltimore, I have family here in this area. And when I come up here, it's always a great experience. So the community continues to roll out the red carpet for our program, and we're hoping to continue to meet the demand.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that. So thank you very much. And I am honored to present this check in the amount of $5,000 for you. And thank you for your ongoing support of the Westminster Oyster Stroll.
Thank you. Good surprise.
There you go. We're going to transition into some holiday events with the 2025 Miracle on Main Street Electric Holiday Parade Awards. There's no holiday sparkle quite like lights that make Westminster shine each season. As mayor, I've loved watching our community grow brighter every year, literally and figuratively. And tonight I'm honored to announce the winners of the 2025 Miracle on Main Street Electric Holiday Parade. Our 3-member panel of local business owners judged each entry on theme, detail, and brightness in the following categories: Best and Brightest, Spirit of the Season, Main Street Champion. All winners receive a $100 gift card, a trophy, and of course, 364 days of bragging rights. Right, so first, please join me in recognizing Lynn Wimmer, Dr. Wimmer, accepting on behalf of Carroll County Veterinary Clinic, winner of the Best and Brightest. You're welcome. It's quite heavy. There you go. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
Right, next. Spirit of the Season Award goes to George Sterling with Sterling Quality Water. Here he is.
Oh, that was impressive.
I appreciated the float with the bird city on the side. I think Sterling's float every year seems to incorporate something new about Westminster. When we redid the clock tower, you had the clock tower. This year it was the bird city. So they're noticed.
Yeah.
Door open. All right. Congratulations. And finally, our Main Street champion is Cub Scout Pack 631, represented tonight by Diana Hall, committee chair, and Will Sommer, Cub Master. That's one of you. I'm gonna hold that. Thank you. There you go. You do it in the middle. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to all our parade participants. Creativity and dedication make the Westminster Electric Holiday Parade a proud Westminster tradition. I'd also like to extend a sincere thanks to Mark DeGasperi, owner of Interstate Battery, for carrying this event each year. Interstate Battery provides energy for all electric entries with staff on site to ensure floats are safely illuminated and dismantled. All right. All missed up.
Think this, you done?
No, I have one more. In my opinion, this is important. It is my pleasure to announce the winners of the 2025 Mayor's Holiday Cup Storefront and Window Holiday Decorating Contest. The Mayor's Holiday Cup is a longstanding contest recognizing the decorative storefronts and windows of downtown Westminster on display during the holiday season. We had our largest number of entries this year at 20 participants. The winning displays tonight are recognized with holiday theme awards, with the Mayor's Cup being the best overall display. First, I'd like to recognize the winners of the holiday theme awards. The best classic display goes to Global Media at 47 East Main Street. The best family-friendly display goes to Flowers by Evelyn at 92.5 East Main Street. The best inviting display goes to Westminster New and Used Furniture at 31 West Main Street. And the best festive display goes to Flying Colors of Success at 88 East Main Street. The Mayor's Cup Award for the best overall display is awarded to, before I say this, I drove by this display several weeks ago, and I caught it out of the corner of my eye, and I circled back and I drove by the display again, and it was fantastic. There was a Snoopy, there was some art, and but something wasn't quite right. And I went home, and about 5 days later, I said to Melanie, I said, you know, the Arts Council, I drove by their display. I said, there's something not right. Like there's something wrong about the portrait, the Mona Lisa. And I said, what, is that my face? So the Mayor's Cup Award goes to the Carroll County Arts Council. I thought it was big, right? So if you have not seen this display, right, it's everything Arts Council. So there's a Peep for the Peep Show, there's Snoopy for the jazz, and then there's a portrait of Mona Lisa with the face missing and my face in there. So it was you were shooting for that. Way to play the audience. I just want to say thank you for everyone who participates in the window decorating. The storefronts and windows captured the spirit of the holidays and beautified downtown Westminster. So thank you very much for indulging me for these presentations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, folks, anyone who wants to leave at this point, it's gonna get boring from here.
Nice.
I don't understand. Okay. Anybody else going once, twice, then we're gonna be moving on. Okay, our next presentation will be the Carroll County Local Management Board Needs and Assessment Enough Act. And for that, we'll go to Mr. Singer.
Okay, thanks for having us back again. We'll make this as brief as we can because we have a long agenda. I want to introduce a few folks. Well, first of all, I want to thank your director, Mr. Brown, for his help with us as we engage the community in working on this community needs assessment. Addie kind of led our efforts in Westminster. She's got a new job now, doing the hub for us. Liz Cameron is our new Enough Act coordinator. She's going to give you a presentation tonight, and then we're going to talk about a few next steps. And I want to thank Celine for being here and supporting us, our Director of Citizen Services. So thanks for having us back. Go ahead, Liz. You can take it from here, and then I'll kind of follow up with the next steps.
Thank you. Red behind. Go next slide. Okay, perfect. Would it be best to start up here, or does anyone have a preference?
Wherever
Okay, I will, I guess, go here. All right, everyone. Good evening and thank you for having us tonight. As Ed mentioned, my name is Liz Camerlin and I am the newly hired Community Engagement Program Coordinator for the Local Management Board. I know you're short of time, so I am going to try to breeze through this. However, on one of the last pages, all of our contact information is there. So if you have further questions, if you want to talk to us about this, you want to dive deeper into the data, please reach out to us. We would love to talk about this more. Tonight's really just a high-level overview, but we love doing this work and we always will talk about it anytime someone wants to. Okay, so first acknowledgement. First and foremost, we'd like to acknowledge and thank everyone who has contributed to the needs assessment they're about to share. This is to include the local management board and staff, the community planning committee, as well as community members and local partners. For our overview, the needs assessment was led by the Carroll County Local Management Board along with Due East partners. Quantitative data was pulled from multiple sources and paired with qualitative insights from 400 plus community members. The assessment was aligned with the Enough Act's 4 pillars, which we will discuss in greater detail further in the presentation, and focused on the 2 highest poverty census tracts, which are Westminster City at 13% and Union Bridge at 33%. The goal of this effort was to surface community strengths, gaps, and priorities, and to shape the community plan and next step actions. Here are the Enough initiative 4 pillars that I mentioned previously. These 4 main pillars guided our work and helped us look at strengths, challenges, and what is next for each area. Our methodology. For our methodology, we used multiple methods that were utilized to ensure a complete picture of Westminster's needs. This included secondary data review, data analysis and reporting, and community services with over 400 engaged single responses. So key takeaways. So for the high quality child care and education pillar, there were some notable wins here, like in high graduation rates, strong attendance, and solid early literacy scores. However, there were challenges around childcare costs, limited public pre-K programs, and gaps in kindergarten readiness, especially for minority and multilingual students. We also noticed that Westminster schools performed below county averages, and there was more support needed for tutoring, bullying prevention, and mental health. And here is one of the charts to depict that. So for the families are healthy, overall families are doing well with low infant mortality, high insurance coverage, and fewer inactive adults. However, mental health is clearly a growing concern. More adults are reporting poor mental health days and long waits for services. Additionally, there is more support needed around ADHD, autism, and developmental needs, and expanded in-home therapy services would be helpful. There's another chart to show that. For the families are economically stable pillar. Overall, the results are good with a strong median income and community support systems already in place. However, housing remains a main concern for residents, as more than 25% of households are earning too much for financial aid, but not enough to get by. Additionally, there is more support needed around emergency housing and sober living options, as well as the need to strengthen collaboration for existing agencies. One of my favorite graphs because you can see that there. And here's another one. So for safe and thriving communities, we have a strong faith-based and community networks here and great local events that bring people together. However, we still have challenges with homelessness, youth crime, and housing quality. We also noticed that improvements could be made with landlord accountability, recreation access, and community trust. Just more. Key considerations. So the needs assessment gives us both the data and the lived experiences we need to make targeted, coordinated investments in Carroll County's future. Some of the strategies we identified cut across all 4 pillars, like coordinated public information campaigns and cultivating local ambassadors in priority areas. We can also scale solutions that are already working, like ride-sharing vouchers, high-dosage tutoring, and housing-first models. One solution we've already started is establishing a Carroll County Asset Map, which is a visual tool for local resources. This asset map will be found on our local management board website and is an easy and interactive resource into the county's GIS system. This work is still in progress, but the goal is to create a resource that is both accessible and sustainable over time. Our community plan. First, I want to share our guiding principles, which are we are committed to meeting people where they are, making services accessible, and honoring the diverse backgrounds and experiences that shape our community. These principles remind us to ask tough questions, to support local leaders, and to lift up community-driven solutions. By teaching, listening, and growing together, we are not only addressing today's challenges, but also laying the foundation for lasting positive change in Carroll County. And here is our community plan for FY 26 to 31. Ultimately, the community plan is the vision for a healthy, engaged Carroll County where all families can thrive. The plan calls for stronger collaboration, more family voices in decision-making, and clear accountability for progress. Our mission is to connect community partners, strengthen and coordinate resources, and advocate for accountable systems of support across the county. And now I will pass it along to Ed for our next steps.
Thanks. And thanks again to the council for having us here. This is where I'd like, if you've got anything you want to engage us on to help us with what our next steps are, we'd really like to talk about that. But just a few thoughts. One of the things is we get a certain amount of money from the state for some of the programs that we run, and we use the feedback we got from the citizens here in Westminster to decide on some programming. We're going to continue our suicide intervention and prevention program because we think that's very important. A lot of feedback we get from the schools says that we really have a high rate of suicidal ideation here in Carroll County, so we thought that was important to continue. We're seeing a lot of struggles with people who are in generational poverty, especially the 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are coming up with not having stable housing when they, when they're trying to become successful adults. And we have a housing stability program that helps those folks get into housing. And we essentially have somebody who's a mentor for them to help them become successful adults and work to get jobs. And the first thing we're trying to do is to house, and we're going to maintain that program as it is because it's working very well. We're going to be rolling back our Connecting Youth program. It's been in place for a long time, and I think there are a lot of other organizations that are picking up some of the pieces that we were doing with that. And what we're going to do with the money that we had from that is we've talked about the need for more in-home counseling. We've got a lot of families that are in crisis right now with DSS's program that they fund through the local management board to do what we call family preservation. There's a 4 to 6 week waiting time, and we're losing a lot of folks who need that help right now. So we're going to try to expand family preservation. The beauty about this program is it goes into the home, see what's happening there, and we're able to meet the people where they are and understand what's happening in the house. And by expanding family preservation, we're hoping to reduce that wait time so that people don't have to be waiting for the services. The other piece that we're doing that Addie's now responsible for is we're the hub coordinator for the for what they call the Community Health Resources Commission services for coordinated services for community supports. And we've set some priorities working with the school system and looking at our data here in our community assessment. Some of the things that we're going to prioritize with the funding that's available through the state, through the blueprint, are truancy prevention programs, again additional in-home counseling and wraparound services that would go along with that. Addie, what are the other two things that I'm missing offhand?
Social emotional learning skills and
so those will be coming out in RFP very soon, and folks will have an opportunity to submit proposals to us on how we're going to support those programs, and we'll have the opportunity locally here to make decisions now this year as a hub as to what those programs should be. What I'd like feedback from you all on, and if you don't give it to me here tonight, please have somebody reach out and talk to us about it. One is, how can we best support the community providers that are here in Westminster, serving Westminster with technical assistance? Is there some training that they need? Do we need help with grant writing so that they can go after state or federal money to try to improve what they're doing? Or is there some other type of thing that we could do? We ran a Bridges Out of Poverty training for folks, and maybe it wasn't at the right time. We were hoping to get some leadership and all from communities out to the bridges out of poverty. But we did get a lot of engagement from providers and whatnot, and we can provide training like that. We do have resources for training. What we really want to do is help build the capacity of, local government and the nonprofits that are working within your community to help be able to address the issues that we've found in our community assessment. And the other thing is we're working in Union Bridge, the other community that has the high levels of poverty, and we've talked to them, and they would really like us to come out and promote the services that are available in the county. And I don't know if that's appropriate here for Westminster. They have a suggestion on how we're going to do it there. But if we feel like, I feel like sometimes people aren't aware of how all these services tie together, and we could potentially put together something where we could come out and do some type of a resource fair. And I mean, we resource fair people sometimes to death, but if there's something that we think is necessary in order to make people aware of the existing services and talk about our gaps and whatnot, we'd be glad to try to put that together, and we can work with you on that. If there's somebody who would like to assign us from staff or somebody to work with on that again, we'd be glad to talk about that. But we're essentially looking our purpose is the local management board. We don't provide any real direct services, but we want to figure out how we can build capacity of other organizations to be able to meet the needs in the community. So any feedback you have for us on that, we'd greatly appreciate it. So thank you for your time. I'll glad to take any questions or any suggestions if you have at this point, or you can always get back to us because our contact information's in there.
Thank you, Ed. I have a couple questions, but I want to give my colleagues an opportunity first before I would go. So does anybody else have any questions or comments they'd like to make? President? Go ahead, Mr. Ferrero.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. There's a lot of information to digest quickly. Thank you for sharing those with us. I'm looking forward to reading it carefully. I think I will have some questions after that. I'm just wanting to understand when we're in the section where we're talking about economic stability. Is this suggesting that given the city of Westminster, that 48% of the households are above federal poverty level yet struggling to afford?
You're talking about the Alice thing, yes.
So that's 48% of all households in Westminster?
Well, I think we're looking at the area, we've got this, we've had this area that we've outlined, and essentially it's not all of Westminster. We've got a census tract where you've got a high level of poverty. Kind of the area that we've been most looking at, and it doesn't necessarily follow this, but is that area that's over by Bishop's Garth, runs down Main Street, Pennsylvania Avenue, down by where St. John's Catholic Church is, and some areas in there. But there is that data is based on the affordability of housing related to how much people are spending on their housing. I think it's 35% is kind of what we're looking at to try to be a cutoff rate. So folks are struggling to be able to afford housing costs, and that's something that's hard to deal with here in Carroll County because the price of housing is just high. So it is a unusually high percentage of resources. And I think we're seeing a lot of, I was talking to Councilman Dayhoff here, we're seeing a lot of demand for food and basic necessities from people here in Westminster and out in Tawnytown and Union Bridge, just because people are struggling with the basic needs just because of how expensive it is here to live here in Carroll County. So I hope that.
Well, that
it is a very large percentage, though, if you think about what rents cost here in Carroll County.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. President,
Go ahead, Mr. Dale.
one of the things that I consistently see with Carroll Food Sunday is information dissemination. I'm always surprised that people aren't able to connect the dots for the resources that are available to help them. I know with landlord issues in particular, there's a great solution for issues to call Mr. Brown. He's a great advocate for those sorts of issues. But information dissemination, and I don't know what the answer is these days. Facebook is siloed. The Carroll County Times, that's not necessarily an adequate and appropriate media these days. I don't know the answer. I really don't.
Well, what we're doing in Union Bridge, and I was suggesting we can potentially do this here is, a lot of the organizations like the Boys and Girls Club and even the YMCA have talked about, they'd come out, they'd support something where we could have fun activities for the families. And that, because if you just have a resource fair with information, people aren't gonna come.
Right.
And if we have
We've
something,
experienced that.
but if we feel like if we had something where we could have fun activities for the kids and we get everybody involved, and we could get like Boys and Girls Club and the Y and everybody else to promote it, maybe we could get people that we could have fun things for the kids and also help connect people with resources. And if that's something you'd like us to do, we'd like that feedback from you. But if you don't think it would, I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I don't want to waste our time and resources if you don't think it would be helpful here in Westminster. What we're talking about down in Union Bridge is just potentially, and we're meeting with them in January in a work session to talk about, you know, how maybe we use the fire department and whatnot to bring people together, and potentially we could serve some pizza or something, and then bring in Boys and Girls Club, and they could have an activity, and the Y could bring, they have something they call Y on the Fly or something like that, and we could try to promote it by having some fun activities for the families and also trying to provide information. So we could look at doing something here in Westminster if you guys think it's worth it. A lot of the organizations are centered here in Westminster, so what's right for Union Bridge might not be right for Westminster. But if we think that a resource fair with and we promote it the right way would be the right thing, then Liz can do that. We're all gonna support her, but that's part of the reason she's here, to help us coordinate those type of community engagement events.
Mr. President.
Yes, good.
So I really have more of a comment that, you know, we'll talk about housing. And obviously with my background in real estate, part of the big issue has to do with supply. You know, we have not done enough as a society. And there needs to be a diversity of housing. And, you know, in Westminster, we're very limited because of water and sewer, though I would argue that as a community, we're more open to a diversity of housing type. I'll just be frank. There are members in the greater Carroll County community that all they want is single family housing. And strategically, if the county really wants to address this issue, the county government needs to get more serious about the need for housing and a diversity of housing type. And that can't just, and there needs to be better collaboration between the counties and the municipalities, because the municipalities have issues as far as infrastructure, and the county would be in better position to help some of the municipalities to grow. And the only designated growth area in all the county is Freedom area. Right now, there's actively discussions regarding a deferral. And if you would talk to certain people within county government, they don't necessarily want the type of resources, housing resources, that are really going to address this issue. So I don't mean to be flippant, but like, we can talk about all this we want and about the cost of rent and all of that, but it is a supply and demand driven issue. And it is obvious that we have an issue with supply, but at the same token, people want to complain about that. Society or communities, nobody wants to do anything about it. And so I would just say that from a strategic standpoint, you know, that's the elephant in the room that needs to be addressed, because there are people that are just spending. I'm a landlord myself, and there are people that are just spending a lot of money to be able to live. There's a reason why, because there's just not enough out there.
I agree with you 100%. And I know county just recently did the housing study, and there was some discussion about that. I don't know, Celine, if you have more information on how that's going to roll out and move forward, or I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
And I think that they're still walking through the housing study, and clearly what you're saying was part of what was mentioned and walked through in that study, and the direction, and then you're right, the deferral. Those conversations, I think, are still being hashed out, and there's a public hearing about the deferral process. I believe it's next week. So I think that you're right. There is a lot that can be done. The diversity of housing, the housing stock is not there. Clearly, housing falls for the county within my department. We work very closely with Director Brown.
And it's a challenge, especially for folks that need first floor units, accessible units. There's a lot more stock that we need there so that folks can come and find a unit that fits their personal needs. So yes, I agree. There's a lot that we need to continue to look at. So, and it's a big discussion that's happening.
And not go down the rabbit hole, because I don't want to take us, but we in Carroll County, we need to be more serious about it because the state is getting much more serious about it. And I certainly want to maintain a level of local control. But if we don't start addressing some of the issues, you're going to see more and more movement from the state to interject. And anyway.
Well, and we've all had the conversation. I mean, I don't know how, most of us here, if we've got kids, it's been hard for our kids to even consider living in this community because they can't afford it.
I want my kids to live here, not to go to Pennsylvania.
Right.
So, and to your point though, I do want to interject and just say that the idea and where we are right now, right? Because we have folks that are in our community that are that are at the limited income constraint and employed, right? These are the folks we're talking about that don't qualify for certain entitlement benefits. However, they're challenged with paying the bills, finding housing that they can afford without paying the majority of their paycheck for rent. And then the things on the side that they pay for, that they have the money left over to pay for, they have to decide and make those hard decisions. So I think that those are the folks, if we had a resource fair, because some folks don't realize what is out there that they can take advantage of,
yeah.
right? So we want to make sure we're reaching that population and maybe a resource fair or maybe a really creative way, and maybe you guys can help us figure that out. Westminster, bringing these folks to the table to let them know, this is something that you could take advantage of that's going to help you save costs over here so you can spend that money over here when you really need.
Mr. President.
Go ahead, Ms. Gilbert.
Do you guys, is there a Fred and I just recently left that services field, so, and I don't remember this. Do you guys disseminate a little card to people, like if they actually just qualify for food stamps? Here's a card, did you go to X, Y, Z and have a list of, if you need this, go to this spot, go to this, because you're right, most people have no idea what's available, particularly if they just moved into the area. So is Shepherd, we used to have a card.
The accordion card, yeah.
Long accordion card.
Long accordion card. So
But just something similar to that would list like Shepherd staff, or would list, here's your food stamp location, or list, you might qualify for this at HUD. So a lot of people, when they go and they do their HUD application, are like, okay, I'm done. But if they don't ask, you're also not gonna say, oh, by the way, you're gonna qualify for XYZ. So I don't know if card or something simple.
There's different iterations. I think that each agency uses an HSP when people come to them for housing. They have flyers that have different resource lists on them as well. But I think maybe we go back to the old
long
handout
cards, and it was just teeny tiny.
I think we could have been more on the QR code because the accordion, that information becomes stale or it's not up to date, so it's easier to just tap it for the website.
Cheaper for us.
And I do think that a lot of our navigation folks are really helpful in trying to make sure that they tell people about the things that they're eligible for. That's why I think when I mentioned the Youth Housing Stability Program, just trying to help folks figure those things out is, and we need that for the adults as well, I think sometimes, but that's why I think that Youth Housing Stability Program is so helpful with some of these folks and getting them up and getting them going and having them be successful taxpayers as opposed to, essentially being a drain.
Great. Okay, I had some questions, but I'm gonna forego those, just in the essence of time. If I need to, I'll reach out to you directly.
Please email me. I'd love to hear from you or give me a call. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. You guys are not required to stick around for the rest of this meeting, so it's even gonna get more boring.
Probably a little boring.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
How many more actually? Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah, just.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We have two public hearings this evening. We have a public hearing related to annexation resolution 25-08. Annexation number 89 and a public hearing for ordinance number 2025-09. Public hearings in the city of Westminster are administered by the mayor, so I'm going to pass the gavel to her, and she will run these hearings. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Call this public hearing to order at 7:45 PM. This is annexation number 89, Knit Center Park Condominium, Phase 1. Annexation resolution number 25-08, annexation number 89, Knit Center Park Condominium, Phase 1, petition for annexation to enlarge the corporate boundaries of the city of Westminster by annexing into the city certain property containing plus or minus 1.47 acres contiguous to and adjoining the city's existing corporate boundaries, consisting of real property located at 531 Old Westminster Pike, Westminster, Maryland, 21157, also identified as tax account numbers 07-155735, 07-432-124, 07-432-125, 07-432-129, 07-155-964, 07-431-833, 07-432-128, 07-155-743, 07-432-127, and 07-432-126, and map 0046, grid 0015, parcel 0017. At this point in time, I will turn it over to Mr. Depot for the staff report.
Thank you. And I'll try to be exciting. So,
Do your best.
it's not going to be, I apologize. So, the city has verified the signatures on the petition, and tonight's public hearing was advertised in accordance with the annotated code of Maryland. The annexation area is developed with a 2-story office commercial building in zone C2 commercial medium industrial intensity district under the zoning laws of Carroll County. The reason we had the multiple tax account numbers is the building is under condominium regime, so you have multiple owners as part of that, of which all provided signatures as part of the petition. The petitioners are requesting that the property be zoned B business zone under the city zoning ordinance. Development in the city's B business zone is substantially similar to development in the county C2 commercial medium intensity district. As such, no waiver for zoning was needed. The property is located outside city limits, but inside the water and sewer service areas and is eligible for annexation under state law. The property is currently being served by public water and sewer. On September 8th, 2025, annexation resolution 2508 for annexation 89 was introduced, including the annexation plan, which is attachment 3 of the report, by the Mayor and Common Council, allowing the annexation process to begin. On September 9th, 2025, the annexation resolution 2508, along with the annexation plan pursuant to the annotated code of Maryland, was emailed to Carroll County and the Maryland Department of Planning. On October 2nd, 2025, the Maryland Department of Planning forwarded its review comments, which are provided in attachment 4. On October 23rd, 2025, the Board of County Commissioners of Carroll County voted to provide a comment letter documenting their review process and comments received during the Carroll County 60-day review period. This is in attachment 5. On November 20th, 2025, the city's Planning Zoning Commission held a public hearing on annexation resolution 2508 for annexation 89, including the annexation plan. The Planning Zoning Commission forwarded annexation 2508 to the City of Westminster's Mayor and Common Council with a favorable recommendation. And that completes my report. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Depot. We have one person signed up to speak on this public hearing. Mr. Herf, would you, the floor is yours.
Good evening, thank you, and a great job with all those tax IDs. As Mr. Depot mentioned, this is a medical office building.
So could you give us your full name and address, please?
Sorry, Matthew Herf, and my full address is 73 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland. Matthew Herf with Schaefer Miller. And I'm here representing the petitioner, the Knit Center condo, David David Baxter here is with me. He's a member of the board. Marshall Green from CLSI, who did the drawing, is also present with me. As Mr. Depot mentioned, the condo, or this building is a condo set up with a condo regime with medical office buildings contained in the facility. Nothing is changing. So I want to emphasize for the mayor and common council, nothing is changing with this long-standing building. It's just become eligible to be annexed in. There was an agreement from way back in time where it would the property would annex in when it became eligible, and as properties come online down the road, this property is now eligible. The nexus of why this application came about is some new there were some building permits being pulled, and they needed water and things of that nature. So again, nothing's changing at the Mid-Center Plaza facility. Everyone's probably fairly familiar with. It's right next to Carol Indoor Arena, and just want to emphasize nothing's changing there.
Thank you.
And if the council has any questions, we're here to answer them for you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. So. Okay, public hearing number 2. I call this public hearing to order, 7:51 p.m. Mid-Center Park.
We're open.
Ordinance number 2025-09. Ordinance number 2025-09 PI Planned Industrial Zone Uses and Procedures Text Amendment, and the ordinance of the Mayor and Common Council of Westminster, amending Chapter 164 Zoning and Subdivision of Land of the Code of the City of Westminster, Article 12, PI Planned Industrial Zone, Section 164-66, Uses Permitted, to add hotels as a permitted use, and Article 12, PI Planned Industrial Zone, Section 164-75, Subsection D, Procedures, and Article 23, Amendments, Section 164-188, Plan Development, to authorize the Planning and Zoning Commission, rather than the Mayor and Common Council, to approve the amendments to an approved development plan designating areas of the planned industrial zone for retail and commercial uses, and to increase the allowable gross acreage of such uses from 15% to 30%. At this point in time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Depot for yet another exciting staff report.
Thank you. As background, on July 28, 2025, the Mayor and Common Council approved Ordinance 2025-01, Automobile Uses Text Amendment. During the Planning and Zoning Commission's and Mayor and Common Council public hearings for the ordinance, the majority of the public comments and discussions appear to be primarily related to the process to allow certain retail and commercial uses, or, as termed in the ordinance, local retail business or service shops in the PI zone, versus specific use revisions. As opposed to amending Ordinance 2025-01, the zoning administrator recommended that the public comments related to the PI zone could be better addressed by amending the zoning ordinance section 164-75D, the process to allow local retail business or service shops in the PI zone, which led to the drafting of Ordinance 2025-09 before the Mayor and Common Council tonight. So generally, as already mentioned, the ordinance proposes to increase the acreage limitations of section 164-75D from 15% to 30%, specifically for local retail businesses and service shops uses in the PI zone. So essentially, this is increasing the availability of commercial uses that otherwise were allowed in the PI plan development zone. It also allows the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the PI zone development plan amendments for these specific local retail businesses or service shop uses in the PI zone. And again, this is amendment to any new development plan would have to come to the Mayor and Common Council as it does today. Amendments today come to the Mayor and Common Council. This just allows now amendments to be Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed and approved. In addition to these two process amendments, the ordinance also proposes to add the new permitted use of hotels to the existing permitted motor inns and motel use in the PI industrial zone. On October 13th, 2025, the Mayor and Common Council introduced ordinance 2025-09 and referred it to the Planning and Zoning Commission for its review and recommendation. On November 20th, 2025, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on the ordinance and voted for the ordinance to the Mayor and Common Council with a favorable recommendation. The zoning administrator would like to note that ordinance 2025-01 amended the automobile-related uses throughout the city, including the PI zone, and ordinance 2025-09 intends to improve the process to allow local retail businesses and service shops in the PI zone. However, neither ordinances amend the development plan regulations in the PI zone, of which the zone administrator has recommended that this should be reviewed and possibly amended in the future with a future, what I would call a phase 3 text amendment, specifically for the PI zone. That completes my report. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Depot. We have one person signed up to speak. Mrs. Miller, do you state your address for the council?
Yes, thank you. Good evening. Kelly Schaefer Miller, 73 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland, 21157. I'm here tonight on behalf of the owners of the Carroll County Commerce Center. President and seated to my right is Brian Ditto, who's a representative of ownership of the Commerce Center. As you all are aware, the Commerce Center is a site that has developed under the PI zone. And we are here tonight in support of this text amendment, recognizing and being ready for a dialogue about a potential phase 3 text amendment that will now take into consideration some of the changes that this second phase text amendment makes. Just as a quick little explanation of the amended plan process, I thought it might be helpful to understand an example of when that would come to benefit. If you all are familiar with the Royal Farms site out of the Carroll County Commerce Center, there is a development plan approved for the Commerce Center. At the time that the development plan was approved by Mayor and Council, it showed that site as having office space on it. When Royal Farms was interested in that site, we had to go through an amended development plan process before Mayor and Council to just change the writing on that site from office to retail. If this amended plan process is altered as the proposed text amendment puts forward, what could have happened is that there could have been a site plan that was submitted simultaneous and processed concurrent with the amended development plan. Because a development plan does not get you out of or take the place of a site development plan process. You still have to go through a site development plan process and receive a planning commission approval for the actual building that you're constructing. So had that been eligible for that process at the time, the two could have processed at the same time and concurrently. I think it would have been a more efficient process. It's our understanding, and I think it's clear in the text, that any substantive amendments to a development plan, in the sense of really adjusting the types of buildings or those sorts of things, return to Mayor and Council for their approval. So we are here tonight in support. We are happy to answer any questions that you might have specific to the amendment, but we are requesting your approval of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller, for that explanation and example as well. Would anyone else like to make a public comment on this public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close this public hearing at 7:59 p.m. Mr. President, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Now we'll move on to special guest that we have this evening. Has been the tradition for a number of years now. Under the leadership of President Jaskin, McDaniel has sent a representative to our council meetings during school year, fostering a close and meaningful relationship with the city. This evening, we will welcome Mary Bendel Simso. Is that right?
Yep.
She's the Dean of Faculty, and Ms. Bendel Simso, if you'd like to make a couple of comments, please feel free.
I just wanted to make an announcement and an invitation. The announcement is that it will be quieter because finals end on Friday. And all the students will leave pretty much on Saturday, and they will come back on January. Well, many of them will come back on January 5th for the start of Jan term. And then the invitation is that the holiday lights are up. So please come to campus. And I called, like, when do you turn them off? Like, what if they show up at midnight? And they're like, no, we turn them on at dusk and we turn them off at dawn. So from now till, they wouldn't tell me when they're taking them down. Now until at least January 1st, you are welcome to come and enjoy the lights on campus because they're really beautiful, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to approval of minutes. We will now consider the approval of previous meeting minutes. We have minutes from 2 meetings of the Mayor and Common Council. We have minutes from the Mayor and Common Council meeting minutes of November 24th, 2025, and Mayor and Common Council closed meeting minutes of November 24th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pecoraro. Is there any discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. We have no items on the consent calendar this evening, so we'll move right on to report from the mayor. Madam Mayor, it's been a busy evening for you.
It has been, in light of that, I really do not have much of a report. I just want to wish everyone a very happy holiday season as we roll into the end of 2025 here. Especially to the city staff who have really been rocking it the last several weeks and all year round. But the city this time of year is always the prettiest. And so for everyone involved in making the city look like a holiday destination, I just want to say thank you very much. It has been lovely on Main Street and the surrounding areas. Other than that, that's about it.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Now we'll move on to reports from committees. We'll start off with you, Madam Mayor, and this is going to be the last time we want to have you this evening.
So the arts, Carroll County Arts Center finished a very successful Festival of Wreaths event. Can I state the?
You can.
Right, so the goal was met of over $15,000 raised during the Festival of Wreaths. I think the wreaths this year were just really top notch. They had a very full weekend this past weekend with a sold out show of the Charlie Brown jazz event, and then the evening event was very well attended as well. Packed crowd for that. Several upcoming events. Storytellers is one of the main events that's coming up in 2 weeks at the Arts Center, and the Gallery of Gifts is open. Support some amazing small local businesses, local artisans that have their goods in the Gallery of Gifts. You will find something for everybody on your list. I guarantee it.
Can we purchase a print of the Mona Lisa?
That's a Christmas card.
That's a good idea.
That's a Christmas card. Please stop by and see that. It is the funniest thing on Main Street. So.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on to Economic and Community Development Committee, Mr. Huff.
I have nothing tonight, Mr.
Thank you
President.
very much. Finance Committee, Mr. Pecoraro.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Ms. Gilbert.
Nothing.
Great. Public Safety, I do have a very brief comment. On November 11th, Westminster Police Department patrol officers located and stopped 2 suspects. I think I read this one last. Is this the one I read last month, or is this new?
Sounds like it, sir.
Last month?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so then I have no comment. I know I have one, but I forgot to update it, so it'll have to wait until January. We'll move on to Public Works. Nothing. Thank you. Recreation and Parks, Ms. Gilbert.
Nothing.
Technology Committee, Mr. Dayhoff.
I wouldn't dare give a report.
Thank you very much. Intergovernmental, Mr. Huff.
Nothing, sir.
Okay, now we'll move on to council brief comments and discussion. Mr. Pecoraro.
Very briefly, Mr. President, because you know I rarely do this, but I attended the Saturday evening event at the Arts Council, the Walt Michael Company concert. And afterwards I was struck by something I just wanted to share with everybody, that it really is amazing, what a rich, group of, artistic talent we have in this area.
Yeah.
People, artists and musicians who are not just locally or regionally known, but internationally known. And it's remarkable that we have them here and that we're able to hear from them and see them, their works around town, performances at the Arts Center, which of course the city owns the building and we provide to the Arts Council to use because we want this type of activity in our community. And of course, opportunities to feature the mayor's face on, hijacked paintings by masterpieces. But it really is remarkable. And so thanks to all that you're doing there. I didn't know you were going to be here tonight, but I was going to mention this anyway. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Pecoraro. Mr. Dayhoff.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I want to echo what Mr. Pecoraro said because your vertical integration in the community is just awesome. You're bringing everybody together all at one place. And I really appreciate everything happening at the Mona building.
Please don't call me that.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff.
We're not going to call.
Ms. Gilbert.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Huff.
The only thing I will say, the mayor mentioned the Storytellers event on, I guess, December 19th and 20th. This is the second year they've done it. I was there last year and I was blown away. Phenomenal. I encourage anyone who hasn't been to go. It supports a variety of local charities, if I remember correctly, but it is just a really cool evening. So I highly encourage that, and just want to wish everybody, staff and otherwise, I believe this is our last regular meeting, a happy holiday season. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. My only comment is going to be that the parade, the Christmas parade was awesome. Thank you, staff, for doing such a wonderful job with that. Wonderful every year. It was a great one again this year. We have no bids this evening, so we will move past those. We have 3 ordinances and resolutions this evening. First one is adoption of resolution 25-09. Mr. Whitworth.
Good evening, Mr. President, Council. For the purposes of these next 2 resolutions, I'm going to refer to the subject property will be defined during the course of the first ordinance, and then I'll use that as the definition for the second for the purposes of time.
Thank you.
The first ordinance is adoption of resolution number 2509, the annexation plan, annexation number 89 for certain property containing plus or minus 1.47 acres, contiguous to and adjoining the city's existing corporate boundaries, consisting of real property located at 531 Old Westminster Pike, Westminster, Maryland 21157, also identified as tax account numbers 07-155-735, 07-432124, 07-432125, 07-432129, 07-155964, 07-431833, 07-432128, 07-155743, 07-432-127, and 07-432-126, map 0046, grid 0015, parcel 0017, to be defined as the subject property, which property is the subject of a petition for annexation submitted by the owners of a portion of the subject property to the Mayor and Common Council of Westminster.
Thank you, Mr. Whitworth. May I have a motion for adoption of resolution 25-09?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion for the adoption of.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pecoraro. Is there any discussion related to the adoption of this resolution?
Mr. President.
Mr. Huff, the floor is yours.
The only thing I will say is this is a prime example of one annexation leads to another. And Mr. President, as you well remember, I believe, gosh, time flies on me. Within the past year, we worked, you and I together related to the annexation of the property up front. So I'm very happy to now see this property coming into the city of Westminster with open arms. I just kind of want to highlight that. So that's it, sir.
It's nice to see it come to fruition. Any other discussion related to this item on the floor? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of adopting resolution 25-09, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Now we'll move on to adoption of annexation resolution 25-08. Mr. Whitworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the adoption of annexation resolution number 25-08, annexation number 89, Knit Center Park Condominium Phase 1, petition for annexation to enlarge the corporate boundaries of the city of Westminster by annexing into the city certain property containing plus or minus 1.47 acres contiguous to and adjoining the city's existing corporate boundaries, consisting of real property which has previously been defined as the subject property.
Like that, Mr. Whitmore. May I have a motion for adoption of resolution 25-08?
Motion, Mr. President.
Mr. Dayhuff with the motion, Mr. Pecoraro with the second. Is there any discussion related to the item on the floor? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of adoption resolution 25-08, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Now we'll move on to adoption of ordinance number 25-09.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Whitworth.
Finally, for your consideration is the adoption of ordinance number 2025-09, PI Planned Industrial Zone Uses and Procedures Text Amendment, an ordinance of the Mayor and Common Council of Westminster, amending Chapter 164, Zoning and Subdivisions of Land of the Code of the City of Westminster, Article 12, PI Planned Industrial Zone, Section 164-66, uses permitted, to add hotels as a permitted use, and Article 12, PI Planned Industrial Zone, Section 164-75D, procedures, and Article 23 amendments, Section 164-188, plan development, to authorize the Planning and Zoning Commission, rather than the Mayor and Common Council, to approve amendments to an approved development plan designating areas of the planned industrial zone for retail and commercial uses, and to increase the allowable gross acreage of such uses from 15% to 30%.
Thank you, Mr. Whitworth. May I have a motion for adoption of ordinance number 25-09?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Mr. Huff, with the first, was that Ms. Gilbert that had the second? Thank you very much. Is there any discussion related to the adoption of this ordinance?
Mr. President.
Mr. Huff.
I just wanted to highlight and thank, I know the representatives of the Commerce Center were involved with, some discussions related to this ordinance. And I also appreciate staff's work and effort. This is one of the things that we've talked about in economic and community development. And I know we had multiple conversations about it, and I know staff put a lot of thought and consideration into this as well. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that for the collective. And I really appreciate everybody's hard work on this. And I do believe we'll probably have another ordinance coming our way, probably sometime first half of next year, I would imagine.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Pecoraro.
I just want to let Mr. Hoff speak on this. I think he put an awful lot of time and energy into this. Well, I'll be happy to thank Mr. Hoff for his effort.
Thank you, sir.
I agree. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'm going to make one. I agree with everything that was said. I think this is and I also want to thank Ms. Miller, because I know she played a role in this as well. And, sometimes our relationship almost seems like it's a little bit contrary, but, this was good. But this is a good example of where we weren't something. There's a lot of. So this is a great example of us working together to come up with.
Careful, she's going to say Clark.
All right, then never mind. Okay. But I think this is also us trying to signify to the community, not just you guys, but the entire development community, we're willing to make changes to try to make things easier and smoother. For example, we're giving up the authority to approve those parts of this and moving it over to the Planning and Zoning Commission so that it is a quicker process and it can be done faster. And I'd like to compliment Mr. Depot in particular. He put a tremendous amount of time and effort in this and worked hard to try to make sure we're being responsive to the needs of the development community. And I really feel like we have kind of reached a precipice here where we're moving in really a much better direction. And I'm confident that we're going to continue to see that over time as we move forward, because our goal is to try to make things as streamlined as should be possible so that we can grow as a city. And some of the things that those folks talked about here earlier with their report to us, some of those things can be addressed by some of the stuff that we're doing, because a stronger, better economy helps those things. So I just wanted to make a comment on that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of adoption of ordinance number 25-09, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. We have no unfinished business. We have one item of, is there any unfinished business that I'm not aware of? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. We have one item of new business this evening. Mr. Pecoraro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Common Council adjourn into a closed meeting on Monday, December 8th, 2025, at the conclusion of the regular meeting in accordance with the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, section 3-305, B1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals, and B7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pecoraro. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a vote to go into closed session? All those in favor of going into closed session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and we will go into closed session. At the conclusion of this meeting, we will not come back to an open meeting at the conclusion of that closed session. Now we'll move on to reports from the department heads. Ms. Imholz.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll start tonight with the Department of Community Planning and Development, Director Depot.
Thank you. The Board of Zoning Appeals December 2nd meeting and the Historic District Commission's December 3rd meeting were canceled as there were no applications before the board or the commission. On December 18th, the Planning and Zoning Commission is scheduled to hold a work session on zonal map amendment ZMA 2401, The Willows. This is the request to reclassify property from the R7500 to the Planned Development 9 zone located off and east of Pennsylvania Avenue and north of Sullivan Avenue to construct 2 dwellings for a total of 40 dwelling units. And also to review its recommendation to the Mayor and Common Council for Wakefield Valley Development Plan Amendment BP 2401 for parcels W and X to add 35 new density rights to parcel W and construct 35 single-family detached to develop 35 single-family detached dwelling units and dedicate parcel X for open space. And I appreciate the kind words. It was a group effort to get this text amendment passed. I look forward to improving processes and working with the development community. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Depot? I thought you were supposed to ask that, not me. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to highlight Mr. Depot and the planning staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission. He's mentioning the Willows that's coming in front of us later this month, but we all put a lot of thought into, because it's important that we collaborate with the development community, but at the same token, when it comes to us as elected officials and the Planning and Zoning Commission, there's a balancing act because we want to make sure we get good product in the city of Westminster. So I know if you remember the condo building that was on Green Street that we approved the elevations last year, and when those were taken to us here, you saw kind of how they changed over time as the Planning Commission and staff really worked to try to get something that really would fit in well with the community and be nice. So I think a lot of that work, staff and the Planning Commission, like with the Willows, some of that same stuff is really happening. And so it's that balancing act. And I just really want to kind of commend staff as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission, because we really do put a lot of thought into these things. And even when finally Wakefield Valley Development Plan comes in front of the council next year, when you see the history of what that plan looked like over time, I think you will see that what is going to be presented to the Mayor and Common Council is much more attractive than what the first iteration was. And there's a lot of background that goes into that work. So I just kind of want to highlight that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. I appreciate you saying that. The Planning Commission is a volunteer board who puts in so much thoughtful consideration to everything that comes before them. They are making decisions on behalf of the city that will impact the city for generations to come. And to your point, it's often a very visible difference between what was presented to the planning commission and what is recommended for adoption by the planning commission. So thank you for giving a moment to highlight that important work of that commission. All right, hearing nothing else for Director Depot, we'll move on to the police department. Chief Price.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening. I know it's been a long meeting, so I'm just gonna keep it very brief, but I really did want to highlight, this past week we had one of my favorite events. We had the holiday shop with a cop at Walmart. And we really couldn't have gotten that event done without Walmart. Some of our local business communities that made some really generous donations this year. But because of that, 6 local families are going to just be able to have a great holiday and experience the joy of the holiday. So it was a good event. So we got to take 12 children around and shop with them. So we had a great time. But I just wanted to say thanks to the community for really stepping up.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions for the police department? The last thing I'd like to say is I'd like to wish all the staff, the mayor, the council, and the public a very safe and happy, healthy holiday. Mr. President, that concludes departmental reports.
No other departments?
That concludes the departmental reports.
Okay. Final item on our agenda is citizen comments, during which we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issues related to tonight's agenda or any other city matters. For those not in attendance this evening, we welcome your comments via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All email comments will be shared with the mayor and council. Please include your name and address and phone number with your comments. We will now invite comments from those present this evening. This is an opportunity for the public to share their thoughts with the mayor and council. Our role at this point is to listen to your comments and respond appropriately after consulting with staff and each other. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to be heard?
Ramsey Whitworth. Ramsey Whitworth. I actually live at 105 Hunts Bluff Road in Sparks, Maryland, 21152. I happen to be the city attorney for the city of Westminster. I just wanted to commend the police department and apologize for my tardiness this evening, as I was appropriately pulled over for failure to promptly comply with the traffic control device as I was turning left into down by the CVS. I was then properly issued just a warning for my failure to promptly adhere to the traffic. I'm glad that I made it here and that our police department is doing fine work.
Fantastic. That's the best citizen comment we've had in a long time. Is there anyone else that wishes to be heard after that this evening? So, okay, that concludes our agenda and our meeting. Our next regular meeting will be Monday, January 12th. This is our final meeting of 2025. So it'll be January 12th, 2026. And with that, and without objection, we are adjourned.